All right, I'm going to kick this off just a little bit early because I want to check the tech specs here and make sure that everything's running okay. Let's get a little bit more light on the subject. There's some spooky underlighting. Here, I'm going to switch this over to the other screen. There we go. All right, I see we got a few people in here already. Is everything looking okay? Sounding okay? Can you hear me? Okay, good. Good to hear. Okay, yeah, so maybe next time I can use a better mic. I have one out in the garage. I could go run and get it. Okay, yeah, I'm not seeing much lag on the videos. That's nice. I'm just going to wait a couple minutes. I hear you, no breaks. Yeah, I'm going to kick it off in just a couple minutes, but go ahead and think about... Hey, who says I'm not on the toilet? Yeah, think about any questions you'd like to ask. Hey, Loads, how's it going? Yeah, that's right, I'm dressed this time. At least as far as you guys can tell. I'm at least wearing a shirt. Yeah. Yeah, next time I'll definitely use a better mic. In fact, you know, since we have 1 minute, I'm going to go run and get one. I don't like streaming. I know. And just like that, I lost everybody. All right, let's see what this sounds like. Can you guys still hear me? Is it still the fish tank sound? Okay. Yeah, I've got the new mic on, but I don't think I can switch midstream. Let's take a look. Yeah, I don't think so. That's all right, though. We'll just live with what we got. Okay, so I'm going to kick off the first little thing here because I know a bunch of you guys have been asking about this forever. Okay, so when we did the Savage Axis project rifle a couple of years ago, basically the first thing that people started asking, okay, what if we actually used a rifle that's designed for this sort of work? What if we, started with something that has a heavy barrel, something that is a little bit, has better parts in it, like a better trigger. So yeah, this has been a long time coming, and I finally have all the parts, and I actually had to put it together for a super secret project. I had planned on, just building this piece by piece in the project and just showing how it was built, each part. And of course, we're going to do that. But I had to kind of cheat a little bit and just throw it all together real quick for this project that hopefully I'll be able to talk about a little bit later. But I'm expected not to talk about it yet. But here, I'm going to show you what we got. And you're not going to believe the prices on some of the things in here. Yeah, some of the parts are expensive. I'm definitely putting money where it should be. And but some of the most important parts are actually quite inexpensive. I'm going to go ahead and spill the beans on some of this. This is a Savage 12FV. I've mentioned that before. This one's chambered for 6.5 Creedmoor. And this ended up costing me, I think, $224, something like that. It was essentially the exact same price as that Axis last time. And this one actually has an AccuTrigger. So yeah, we've already discussed that it's 6.5 Creedmoor. And I got a chance to shoot it. I didn't just put it together. I had to shoot it. And I haven't even had, optimized loads worked up for this yet. I haven't done any work on the stock to bed it or anything. But check this out. At 400 yards, okay, here's what I did. I took a few shots to figure out where my zero was. Then I took one shot out at 400 yards on a steel plate to see if I could, make sure that my zero was exactly right. So from that, I dialed back. And then I just started wailing on this 6-inch by 20-inch popper at 400 yards. I think I put about 20 rounds down range, and I missed twice with this just because I wasn't paying attention to the wind at that particular moment. I had some other things that I had to kind of pay attention to. But yeah, once we get this actually dialed in, get it accurized, get an optimized load worked up for this, it is going to be a beast. And the total plan so far is to go straight for a mile. I'm skipping over 1,000 yards and all that stuff. I mean, we might just for the fun of it. But yeah, this thing is so quick to get on target in this case that, yeah, we're at the very least, that's our culmination. We're going to go for a mile, and we're going to be able to hit consistently with this. I've already tested the loads that I shot through here at a mile with that CMMG Mark III DTR2, and it was totally up to the task. I actually shot the exact same ammo in here, and yeah, it was doing great. So yeah, let me see what kind of questions you guys have. Okay, I've got one here from MMPS. Savage all the way. So how are you liking the 6.5 Creedmoor over the 308? Yeah, 6.5 Creedmoor is, I love the round. I can see why it is so darn popular. It's flexible. You can use it for all kinds of things. You could use it for varminting. I mean, it's a big varmint round. But heck, I do varminting. I shoot prairie dogs with 243, and people look at me like I'm insane. But yeah, I think 6.5 Creedmoor will be good for that. It's going to be good for all kinds of medium game. People shoot elk with these. I mean, heck, up in Norway, they have the similar 6.5 by 55, and people are shooting moose with that. But then as far as those external ballistics go, hitting steel, yeah, I'm sold. I'm a fan. It handles those big heavy bullets really nicely. This one's got a 1-in-8 twist. So yeah, I'm digging it. Of course, I love 308 too. Those big bullets are pretty sweet. Let's see, did I have to bed the action? I have not done it yet. We will. All of us together, we're going to do the whole video series where we're going to bed the action. We'll do the steel pillars. We will do the full epoxy bed. This one is actually, in some ways, a little bit easier than the Axis. It's a little bit different. I've done a 12FV before. Oh, I should have brought that rifle too, because that one's pretty sick. I think you guys have seen that a couple times before. But yeah, some of the little tricks that we're going to do on this one to make things a little bit different. Okay, people mentioned they really like the stock. This is the Boyd's At 1. So Boyd's was nice enough to send this to us. I asked that they send it along so we could give it a workout. And, you know, $190 for the base model without any of the, you know, weird little tweaks. Like, I think these grip panels are an extra $12 or something, but you really can't beat that. It has all the nice adjustable parts. This can actually get my length of pull almost exactly. This goes out to, I think, 14 1/4. My typical length of pull is 14 1/2. So yeah, works fine there. And then you can see some bottom metal on the underside. This is not what came with the 12FV. This is the Accurate Mag bottom metal, and then the Accurate Mag steel mag. So that's what we're going to be playing with right there. And I'm already finding out some interesting things about the whole system so far. Some of the things that we'll have to tweak. The bottom metal needs a little bit of adjustment. I'm not able to pick up the rounds directly off the bolt. I have to kind of push the magazine up in order to chamber around. So something's just a little bit off, and we'll have to figure out how to fix that. We might take some metal off the top of the bottom metal. That was a kind of funny sentence to say. Or we might take out a little material on the underside of the stock. That one's a little bit more difficult, so I'm going to chat with my father-in-law and see what direction we might want to head with that. Brian Bain just finished his 12FV. I think I might have seen a picture of yours out there somewhere. Did you put one on one of the forums? I just saw someone built one out. It looked really nice. Okay. Okay, Ninja Scout's talking about the Savage 110 Scout and 308. You're going to love it. As far as I can tell, so far, shooting it, it's not the most accurate rifle in the world. Maybe with a little work and maybe with a replacement stock eventually, maybe it could. The stock that's on it, I guess, should be just fine. It feels pretty comfortable, and of course, it's very lightweight. But it's just a fun rifle to shoot. And when it comes to practical accuracy, it's got it. It's really fun. Let's see. No breaks. Just got done watching the Axis Project and the mile shoot for the first time. Have you developed a better way to spot shots at the mile? Kind of. I have a gigantic target now that we're going to keep painted white. We have a good white paint, and it's a 30 by 40 AR-500 3/8" steel target. It is massive. And in the last shoot that we did, and I haven't posted this video yet, we were at 1,280 yards, and it turns out we were just slapping the crap out of the target, but we couldn't either hear it or see it. The mirage was just too messy, and only very rarely we could see, oh, there's a dot. Okay, we did hit it. But basically blind, we were beating the crap out of it with two different rifles. So I do need to come up with a little bit of a different solution. We've talked about putting a spotter actually partway out there. You know, definitely not just leaving him out there. He's behind something off to the side, like the spot where we can shoot a mile. We can get someone behind an oil tank, and a bullet's definitely not going to make it through that, and it's kind of way off to the side anyway. But it gets us closer so we can see some things. We might try that. Have I had an issue with the trigger sticking when slamming the bolt? No, I haven't. I guess I don't usually slam the bolt though. Is it when it's slammed forward? Yeah. Let me just make sure. I'll show you guys that it's open and empty. Yeah, feels pretty good to me. Interesting. Okay. What would I think is the best hunting and practice cartridge? The 6.5 Creedmoor or the 7mm 08 Remington? I love both of them, and they're so far. I think that the 6.5 Creedmoor has been doing really well with hunting. I really think that 7mm 08 is going to have the edge. Both of them have pretty much the same exterior ballistics, but then when it comes to hitting the game, I would expect that 7mm 08 to lay things out pretty hard. It definitely packs a bigger punch. The bullets that I've been running in mine have been 162 grain instead of 140, and it's leaving the muzzle a little bit slower than 6.5 Creedmoor. But again, it's kind of like the difference between 6.5 Creedmoor and 308. Downrange, it's still packing a bigger punch. Doug Snap is asking if I've tried the 6mm Creedmoor, and I have not. That one looks like a lot of fun, and I've considered requesting one from Savage so I can try it out. It does look really neat, and I can really see. At first, I was thinking, okay, why are they coming up with this? Just because somebody decided to neck it down? You know, you gotta. Everybody has to take the latest cartridge, neck it down, come up with a new cartridge, make it a Wildcat. But I was like, no, wait a second. This is not like a replacement for 243 at all. It makes a lot of sense in an AR platform. You're going to be able to get those longer bullets, your higher twist rates, and it's going to be able to handle the stuff like 100 grains on up to 115. I think it's brilliant. Hey, Big Al. Okay, so Big Al's asking what the gun is. This is the latest project rifle that we're going to take back apart and then put back together. This is only put together for a demonstration that I had to do a couple days ago, and I'll be able to talk more about that later. I can talk a bit more about some of the stuff on here. Okay, I got Savage 12FV, 6.5 Creedmoor, Boyd's at 1 stock. This is the Coyote. Accurate mag bottom metal and steel magazine. And that includes that great big trigger loop. I love that. Let's see. This is a Weaver 0 MOA base. I'm going to swap this out with probably an EGW 20 MOA. We're going to get some lower rings. These are Weaver. I love the Weaver rings. We'll just probably do those again. Just get the low ones instead of medium. And sitting on top, some of you guys will recognize this. And it's an SWFA SS first focal plane, 3 to 15 by 42 millimeter. And I am very impressed. The price tag on it is quite good. I think it runs about $650 on SWFA right now. Yeah, first focal plane. You get a 5x zoom ratio. The clicks are really positive. It's missing some of the bells and whistles that you get on modern scopes now, like being able to like lock the turrets or having a zero stop and things like that. But as far as just the things that you want, the tracking, the glass, it's wonderful. I think it's a great bang for the buck. This thing is proving itself to be very, very nice. I was able to read Mirage exceedingly well out on the range. It was pretty sunny when I was shooting a couple of days ago, and yeah, the Mirage was very distinct. Nothing beats a Schmidt-Bender as far as I've tested yet. I mean, like that, it just looks like knives cutting through the air, the Mirage. But yeah, I'm very, very impressed. Rob's talking about using a drone for spotting. We would, but the drone that we've been using, it belongs to a friend of mine. It doesn't have that kind of range. You can't get quite that far out with it. Otherwise, you just lose it. Yeah, Big Al's talking about shooting the crap out of wild hogs with 6.5 Creedmoor. Yep, it's a great hog gun. Yeah. Robin Larson, hey, good to see you, man. He's a patron of the destructive arts. He's asking about if I've tried to smooth out the sharp edges on the @1 stock. And no, I haven't done that yet. Personally, because the edges don't really bother me. I can really see how some folks it might. Some people, they just kind of have that tactile thing where, you know, if something's bothering them, they just can't get it out of their mind. With me, I really just didn't feel them when I was out shooting. I didn't mind it at all. Maybe I kind of notice it with the if I'm shooting offhand with that 308 that I was shooting a while back with the @1, if I have the regular forearm panel that's squared off, yeah, sometimes I noticed it, and I have permanently replaced it with the beaver tail forend. So I haven't really thought about it since then, but that is a good idea. If I was going to smooth out anything, this is where I would go. I would smooth out this section right here, just make this a nice curve all the way over. And I might also take off this edge right here, right in front of the trigger, because that's one of the spots that I'm going to actually be touching. And if it is one of the, if you do have an offhand rifle, you expect to be holding this. I mean, this is too heavy. I'm not going to be shooting this offhand, but I might look at maybe finding a way to curve this just a little bit. This is tough because you have this replacement panel right here. But basically, those are the only sections I would mess with. I think the reach to the safety is all right. That isn't really annoying. Yeah, I think people are just going to feel it right there and then right there. Okay, Big Al is talking about how he had an Applejack one. That's pretty cool looking. I have a few more Boyd stocks that I'll be testing out here in a bit. Yeah, I've got a Barracuda for a 22. That's a pretty sweet little thing. Let me grab that. This is a stock that I wish that they would make for center fire rifles. They really got to do it. They don't have to leave this, weird chunk out of the front. Go ahead and put a full forend on it, put a whole forearm, and make it a really comfortable offhand one. But this is just, it's so nice. I don't even really want to mess with it. If it were mine, if I were making it, I would personally have left a little bit more material on the front just because of the way my hand is shaped. But for folks with smaller hands and all that, I mean, really, and even for myself, it feels great. The way the thumb lays on this side over here, that's just the way that I like a rifle. That's the way that I designed my own stock, was to have this nice little comfy spot right here, just like you get on a pistol. You kind of get that little beaver tail at the back that sits right there in the webbing between your thumb and your forefinger. Yeah, I like that. It has this neat little divot right here for your trigger finger to hang out until it's time to take a shot. Pretty cool. Yeah, nice comfy cheek piece and ridiculously thin butt pad, but it's a 22, so not even a baby would care. Pretty neat. Now let's see what we got. I have an Axis 2. How do the lugs lock up in the stock? Oh, right. Same as the regular Axis. It's exactly the same. The action is the same. That's one where the lug is actually in the stock, poking out. It's just a little piece of metal. And that's one of the things that makes it a little bit weird to do an action bedding on any kind of stock that has the Axis in it. You kind of have to cut away just behind that lug, and then you don't want to really like dig down too far deep into it. Mostly you want to leave it alone because it's sandwiched there pretty good, and you don't want it coming out. But yeah, carve away the wood behind it, carve away some of the wood toward the back, and then put your epoxy in, and yeah, it should be good to go. Okay, we got Mark MountBrighter. He's saying, well, back to work, off subject, but I'm wanting to try out a 204 Ruger. Rangers 50 to 400 yards away. Okay, ranges, 50 to 400 yards. Yeah, it's going to do the trick. Who was I just talking to that was doing a 204? Oh, yeah. Guy a little earlier this week. Yeah, he's got a 204 Ruger. And he's been shooting that. How far away was he? I can't remember. But yeah, those little 20 caliber bullets, they move so fast. I think they come out of the barrel at like 4,000 feet per second, that within probably 200 yards, windage doesn't kill them too badly. But it's a lot like 22-250. How, yes, you're going to get that super flat trajectory, and you don't see all that much wind within the first like 200 yards, but you're really going to have to work on your wind reading if you're going to get beyond that. It's kind of the same with some of the fast 17s. My father-in-law shoots 20 practical, and I've seen the ballistics on that. It's a flat trajectory, but you got to watch the wind a lot. Jim K, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? A woodchuck would chuck as much wood as a woodchuck could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Yeah. Ask Alexa that sometime. All right, I'm going to see if any other questions pile up in here, but in the meantime, I wanted to talk about a scope that I've just done a review on. Thank you, Vaughn Precision, for sending it out. There have been 3 of us so far that have reviewed actually this exact same scope, and we kind of passed it between us. There's Vaughn Precision, there's West Desert Shooter, and then it came to me. And what did I do with this thing? That is the Tracked Toric Ultra HD. And I am blown away by this thing. This is the 5 to 20 power model. It's 5 to 20 by 50 millimeter. And it's kind of tough to see in this mixed light. I apologize for that. Maybe I can come up with some better light in the future. But this has a really neat matte gray finish on it. This is the Savage Evolution in bronze. And yeah, let me just go through some of the tricks on here. But first, I got to tell you that the glass is amazing. Of the 2 rifles that we were shooting at 1,280 yards, where we couldn't see what the target was doing, but we were hitting it anyway. This is the rifle configured as we were shooting it. 6.5 Creedmoor Stealth Evolution with the worn 20 MOA one-piece mount. This has an SWFA bubble level right here. And then, oh, actually, this is kind of funny. Okay, this is a 20 MOA mount, and the rifle already comes with a 20 MOA base. So we've got 40 MOA built in. So we could get this out to a mile, even though this is a 30 millimeter tube. This doesn't have quite as much drop as the some of the big old 34s that we've been playing with, like the Bushnell HDMR2. But yeah, we had no problem getting on track with this. We took just a few shots to figure out 0 at 100 yards, and then we went immediately to 1,280 yards. I'm not kidding. We didn't shoot anything else. We just zeroed it, went ahead, looked at our ballistics, dialed it up, and then, yeah, started throwing lead. And yeah, once we figured out that the ballistics were a little bit off, I don't know how many of you guys use Hornady bullets, but those ballistic coefficient numbers just keep creeping up and up and up, and they're getting, I think, less accurate. They look great on paper, but I don't think those are the actual numbers. Once we accounted for whatever mischief was going on there, we brought things up an extra 1 milliradian, and then just bam, 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 bam. And with this, comparing this to the HDMR2, they both, I think, really have the same resolution, and they seem to have the same contrast. The only real difference that I could tell between the two was that the Bushnell had comparatively a slightly yellowish cast, and the Toric had a kind of a bluish cast to it. And that's kind of relative to each other. Who knows which one was actually more accurate? But when you jump from one to the next, that's how it appeared. You go from the Bushnell, everything looks fine. Go over to the tract, and everything looks just the tiniest bit bluish. And then you jump back to the Bushnell, and everything suddenly looks a little bit yellowish. But yeah, that was about it. Of course, with the Bushnell, you're also going to get more elevation adjustment and windage adjustment. But yeah, you're going to be paying a little bit less for this. This is still a kind of expensive scope. I think it's about $1,200, something like that. But this is going to get the job done. And it feels really neat. The controls are really slick and very fingertippy. Like the locking turrets right here. I mean, you just barely pull up, and they just kind of slide and pop into place. Nice, palpable, and audible clicks. Yeah, maybe not so much on that one. This one's nice and palpable, but you don't hear it as much. And then it does have an illuminated reticle right here. It's kind of a basic mill hash reticle. So that's one of the other things that like the Bushnell has over that. It does have a more complex reticle. This one's simpler. Yeah, the side parallax adjustment is really easy to use. And like I mentioned, really easy to get on target. Big Al is asking, how many MOA did you adjust for drop? This is all milliradian. So I think we were at 13.3 at 1,280 yards. I can actually look it up real quick. Yeah, and Big Al, okay, so yeah, Brian Bain's asking what kind of reticle. That is a, oh, this is loosening up on me. It is a mill hash. It's, and I don't think it has any numbers in it, like the Falcons do. Oh, no, it does. Oh, yeah, it has numbers going all the way up. Oh, actually, man, it's been a little bit since I looked at this. This is sweet. Once you get past 6 milliradians, you can get down to, I think it's 1/4 milliradian. 6.5. That's another one. Oh, 0.2. Once you get past 6 milliradians on any of the axes, you get tiny little hash marks. So if you need to make really minute measurements for ranging, you get 0.2 milliradian measurements. That's pretty sweet. Let's see. This glass, I believe, is Japanese. I'm pretty sure. Yep. At the very least, it's made in Japan. I think the glass is Japanese as well. You can look that one up. Big Al is asking, mill dot versus MOA. What's my preference at 1,000 yards? I like both. They're both good. You can get a little bit more precision sometimes with MOA, but it's going to be based on how the reticle is set up. That's why I love the Bushnell HDMR2 so much. That Chorus H59 reticle is the business. It measures so small that, you know, if I do have just the slightest shift in wind, I can just bring it over one little dot and get right on target. Jim K, what's the warranty on that scope? I think it's a lifetime. I do not remember. Quentin's asking me to talk about the Tikka T3. Yes, I would like to try a Tikka T3. I have not tried one yet, and I really would like to. If anybody out there is working for Tikka, send me a gun. Let's see, Robin's asking if I have a scope recommendation for him. I'm hunting with a Savage Axis and 358 Win. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even know they chambered it for that. That's awesome. It has some bullet drop to it, yes. Also hunting in poor light. I don't want it to be too heavy. Okay, yeah. I think in that case, yeah, think something a little bit lower magnification. Something that's going to be a little bit on the light side. Because I imagine you were talking about hunting some pretty big animals. Like you were talking about hunting moose, I think. And I would want to keep my rig nice and light. So I've been really digging the Falcon S8i lately, but that one doesn't have a very big objective lens, so I don't think it would perform all that well when the light is getting crummy, like say in your winters. Yeah, I'll have to think about that one. There are some good kind of mid-range scopes with big objectives. I guess one that pops to mind is you might check out the Bushnell Engage if you're looking at the kind of budget side of things, because that glass is way, way beyond what the price tag is. That 2.5 to 10 that I tried out, it's a lightweight scope. I think it weighed like, is it 13 ounces or something? So it's really light, 30 millimeter tube, great glass, really good color reproduction. And they have some models for hunting, actually, that you might check out. There's a 3 to 9 by 50, and I'll bet that thing is very bright. You could, if you get some good moonlight, you could probably hunt at night with that. But yeah, let me think about that some more. Myron's asking what I think about the Bergara rifles. Yeah, those look really, really sweet. I would like to try out. I know looking at some of those big tactical ones they had a while back, those look like a lot of fun. And some of the new hunting ones that they have look pretty sweet too. Like I say, I've never gotten a chance to try either of those. So Bergara, give me a call. Kind of expensive. I'm crying about the $550 I'm fixing to spend. Yeah. Tenebrix caps. Okay, yeah. Bear Doe is talking about buying some caps and a throw level for the Toric. He's saying that it is worth it. And that's one of the really neat things. Oh, hey, see you later, Big Al. Thanks for being in here. One of the really neat things about the controls on here and how easy they are to use, the Bushnell HDMR2 really needs that throw lever because it just takes so much torque to crank it all the way over. This one is actually pretty good with the fingertips. A throw lever would be nice, but of all the kind of big scopes that I've tried out, it's the one that has probably needed it the least. This thing is pretty smooth. Okay, yeah, Z50 is talking about how the Bushnell Engages can be found on eBay for a great price, but they're few and far between. Oh yeah, yeah. I've been I've been talking to some of the guys that are kind of over at Vista and Bushnell, and they just can't keep those things in stock. That's a really good indication of how good those things are. Okay, Robin Larson saying that he had to swap his barrel over on the Axis to get 358 Win. I was like, whoa, okay, they're doing some different stuff for Europe. Okay. Well, yeah, if you guys have any other questions, go ahead and throw them out there. I'm trying to think if there's anything else about this scope that pops to mind. Be looking for the review because I am a big fan. It's quite nice. All the little edges just seem very well machined. Yeah, it's a thing of beauty. Quite nice. And I think it did come with this sunshades. That's a nice little extra. Those things can cost extra if you have to buy them all by themselves. Thank you, Randy Quaid. Yeah, I saw that. I actually saw the footage. I'm really sorry about the alien abduction. You did good, though, flying right up into the sphincter. Okay, Brian's asking about the 110 Scouts. Yes, I have actually shot 2 different Scout tests that are still in editing right now. I've been sidetracked by some of the night vision stuff. I had a very short time span to test out the night vision scopes from Night Optics, and I actually just finished up shooting those reviews this morning. Both of those scopes are awesome. The prices are very good for what's essentially a military, Gen 3 night vision setup. Both of those just worked out great. Sentry 14, D750 4X, But anyway, back on that was the distraction from the Scout. The Scout has been a whole lot of fun, and the video that you guys are going to want to watch is 8 of us out at the range shooting moving targets. So we have 1 or 2 guys down in the pit walking or running with a human silhouette target over their heads, and then whoever is on the firing line shooting with the Scout and the little pistol scope that I have on top that's a 1.5 to 4x, and they can kind of pick whatever magnification they want when they shoot. And then shooting back to back with the Stevens 200 basic deer rifle in 308, so same caliber, same ammunition, actually, same distances, and probably pretty close to the same weight. The deer rifle is probably a little heavier just because it has a laminate stock. Yeah, we shot these back to back at moving targets, and like people would, the guys in the pit, they would just pop up with the target and start running. And we had ones where we would just try to take 1 shot to hit it, and then we had some where we tried to get, quick controlled pairs on the target. And at the very end, we had a great big discussion where we just all stood around and talked about what we thought of the 2 different rifles, which one we would take home if they were the same price. You're going to love the video. It was a lot of fun to shoot, and I think it's going to be pretty enlightening for folks that are wondering if the Scout is a solid concept, if it's something that makes sense, and then how it compares to your average deer rifle with a scope that's mounted backward, has a longer barrel, that sort of thing. Let me see if there's any more 110 Scout questions here. Okay, yeah. Zombies Are Us Outdoors channel. So when am I going to get an invite to your kick-ass range? Dude, it is fun out there. Some of the real fun that we have, though, is in my friend's yard. This is where we get to do the speed shooting, and I don't know, sometime we might go blow some stuff up. But yeah, if you're ever in the Tulsa area, give me a call or send me an email or something. I have on YouTube, I have a business listing. I don't know if I gave you my stuff, but that'd be fun to go shooting. Now let's see what we got here. Ooh, okay. Any info on the Nikon FX1000? Yes, that I can't get one yet. I'm waiting. I desperately want to give one of those a run because it looks like a great package. It looks like it's just set up just the way I like them. FFP, 50mm objective, great reticle to choose. It's all just kind of squared away. You get the illumination if you want it. Really, really neat. I can't wait to try one. And I think, especially based on the price tag, I think it's going to be really, really nice. All the manufacturers, actually, a lot of folks are saying that this is the guns, the firearms revolution, the second revolution or whatever, the new renaissance. I think it's the optics renaissance right now. The quality that you can get for the price tag, like those Bushnell engages, I'm just floored by what you can buy right now. Everything's getting really good. RJ is asking, I'd like to get a scope for my AR. What would you recommend? I would look really seriously at that Falcon S8i. Everybody that I've handed it off to has been like, okay, where can I go buy one of these? Because the glass is just that good. At 8x, you can read your Mirage if you want to. You get your mill drops, you get your mill windage, and then you have that great diamond in the center that you can illuminate. It just makes so much sense. You can shoot at close range, you can shoot at long range. That's kind of my go-to scope right now. It's sitting on my my deer hunting rifle right now. I might have to swap some things around, but given the weight that you're dealing with and the total 8x zoom ratio and how flexible it is, that's really what I think of most when I think of an AR scope now. Z50 is asking, I'm looking for M-Lock bipods, UTG Recon, or Magpul. In that video, you really didn't like the Recon Flex, so would you go with the new Magpul bipod? I think it kind of depends on what part of the review you saw. I actually really, really liked the Recon Flex. It was just lacking some of the things that you want for certain kinds of shooting. If you have a big, heavy rifle like this one, and you want to be able to shoot at long distances as stably as possible, there's really only two bipods that I kind of think about, and that's the Atlas 5H, the one that kind of has the U wishbone, so the legs kind of stick out a little further from the sides, and then that UTG. Both of those should be supremely stable. So it's going to be great for that sort of stuff. I'm actually more stable, I'm not even joking, I'm more stable with a rifle like this and that UTG bipod than actually shooting off my machine rest. I'm much more confident in my shots with that bipod on there. It's phenomenal. But the new Magpul looks really slick too. The big difference there is that the Magpul kind of uses the traditional formula like the Harris, where the rifle is sitting on top of the bipod. So again, you kind of have that balancing act. It's going to have more squish in it, more flop. It's going to want to cant some, which sometimes is exactly what you want. If you're not taking those long shots, very stably, and instead you're dealing with moving targets, quick dynamic transitions, spots where you just need to pop up and get a shot, I'd go for the Magpul. And if it's something where you kind of have a bit more control, you want to get locked down, you want to get stable, I'd go for the UTG. Let's see. So yeah, I can tell you a little bit more about the Scout 110. If you have any other questions, go ahead and leave them in the, I don't know which direction it is, but leave them in the little chat window. I'm going to go for another 17 minutes if you guys are still interested. I'm going to pack it up at 5 CST. But yeah, let me talk a little bit about the 110 Scout, because the other test that I did is, again, I compared the standard deer rifle with a Boyd's at-1 stock, 308, same ammunition, versus the 110 Scout, same ammunition, and again, kind of same zoom range. I wanted to see if we were dealing with targets at multiple distances of different sizes, how it would be to kind of come up on those really quickly and start taking some shots. And I'm not exactly sure if I came away with any grand conclusions there, because I was really tired. It was the end of a shooting day, and that was kind of the last thing that I did. And every time I had to reset the targets, I had to go run back out, turn off cameras, set up all the targets all over again, reset everything, go back, turn on the cameras, get back in position and shoot. And I was pretty much wasted by the end. I was so tired. And my shooting definitely shows it. It's going to be kind of an embarrassing video. I might cut it so I don't look so bad. Oh, did I lose everybody? Okay, whew, all right. I'm seeing everybody. Okay, good. I just lost the comments for a second. And hey, we haven't had any weirdos yet. What happened? I'm used to, I would expect to get some like really bizarre comments. So yeah, shot those back to back. Liked both of them. They both seemed to do a fine job of what they were doing. At those kind of closer ranges, if I needed to get stable, I was running my hand way out on the forearm, like how you see a lot of these guys shooting ARs. I didn't want to wrap my thumb over. I accidentally did once, and I burned myself pretty good. That barrel heats up real fast. And it's kind of a smaller forend, so it's easy for a guy with hands my size to burn them. But yeah, they both shot really well. I really enjoyed it. It's a bit frustrating at the end because I was just shooting all over the place, but I did have some points in there, some notes, and I'm going to bring those up in the final review, or that final video once I edit it. Let's see, Brian Bain is asking if me and the Hyde are getting together soon. I really want to go shoot with him. I love that setup he has in that field. That's so darn cool. I would love that. It's tough for me to travel right now, just with some of the commitments that I have and kiddos and all that, but I'd love to visit him. Okay, so Z50 is saying he'll go for the UTG because he's shooting paper to bench at long distance. Yeah, yeah, I think you're going to be really happy with it. It's a little bit finicky to, get cant if you need to fix that. You kind of have to reach out and fiddle with the dials because you don't get any kind of, pivot point there. But then once you're locked in, it is golden. Zombies R Us, what's your recommendation for entry-level budget-minded setup for 308 long range? Sub $800 total package. Total. Well, there's some really good choices. I would probably still head toward that 12FV ever since they re-released it in 308. 26-inch barrel, really good trigger. It's going to have a good twist rate. I think it has a 1 in 10, so you can handle the big heavy bullets. It's the first one that pops to mind, but the Tikas, I bet, would do a really good job too. I really got to try one. What about you, Zombies R Us? What have you been shooting in the long range? I'm kind of curious to read down here. I know a lot of the stuff that I've seen before was a little bit closer up. Doug Snap is asking what scope I recommended. For which rifle was that? Remind me. If that was for the 110 Scout, then yeah, there are really only a couple out there. You have to get an extended eye relief scope. So you're looking at there's a Vortex that I think is just a crosshair reticle. I might be wrong on that. They might have a BDC. I think it's just crosshair though. And then Nikon has a BDC. I'd go for the Nikon myself. It looks pretty sweet. Oh, lost chat again. It'll come back. There we go. My top 3 scopes for out to 1,000 yards at 800 or less budget. Okay, yeah, that's an interesting one. 800 or less. I'll tell you something I want to try. I want to try the Bushnell, some of the new Bushnell series. They have the Prime, the Nitro, and the Forge now. And I think probably the Nitro is going to come in that range. They're going to have first focal plane and second focal plane. I'd like to try one of those. But 800 or less, that's kind of a tricky section right there. It seems like you have things running up to the 600s, and then there's just kind of this gap, and it picks back up at about 1,200. Yeah, let me think about that one for a sec. Okay, Velocity 4,000 FPS. Do you shoot 22-250? Any chance of an Athlon Ares ETR review? Yes, possibly. I'm working with a guy that can maybe hook me up with some Athlons. We've been discussing that. There's a little bit of a deal that needs to be done. And yeah, I think I'll be able to check out some Athlons because I do want to see how they compare. A lot of the long-range shooters have been talking really good about them, how they've been doing a really good job for a somewhat lesser price. Vate Ozaki, yes, this is actually live. Hi, Vate. Vate? Okay, yeah, Zombies R Us is saying, been stretching the Ruger American branch out to 250 with Nikon Buckmaster 3-9x40. I don't have the distance available. I totally understand that. I've been begging, borrowing, stealing other people's ranges to shoot on. Red Castle only opens up the 1,000-yard range twice a year, and it's only for a match. So you don't ever get to practice. You just go out and compete against people, and you see if you're actually dialed in at 1,000 yards. It's a little bit of butt pucker when you get up there and realize how much money you put into all the ammo you made, and you just get to go compete. So it's been really nice to borrow some land from friends. Thanks, Kedrick, and thanks, Billy. He was the one that hooked us up with that hunting location where we got the hog. We could probably get as much distance as we want out there, too. So, yeah, Zombies R Us. Yeah, if you want to start picking up some longer distances as land becomes available, yeah, take a good look at that Savage 12 FV because it has all the right parts in all the right places except the stock. That's basically what's missing. You get a nice, big, long, heavy barrel. You get a great twist rate, like I'm saying, for those heavy bullets. If you wanted to do 308, the magazine is actually long enough. If you use the internal box magazine, it's long enough for those very low drag bullets. And then you get the great trigger. And if you just throw the stock away, get another one, you'll be very, very happy. Thoughts on SWFA SS series? I am a big fan. I have recently got a chance to test out 2. And a couple days ago, I actually got to shoot the FFP 3-15 model. I told some of the other folks a little earlier in this chat about that, and I loved it. The glass is much better than it should be. The price tag is great. Oh, so there we go. Hey, who was asking about top 3 scopes for 1,000 yards at 800 or less budget? There you go. Check that one out. Check out the 3-15 SWFA SS. It's a 3-15 by 42. So with that little bit smaller objective, you're not going to be able to get a whole lot of light when you're getting down toward dusk. I've tested this out. The Falcons that I really like, they have the 44 millimeter objective. They are picking up light much later than the SWFAs. But as long as it's nice and bright and it's not getting down toward dark, yeah, the SWFAs are primo, very nice. They're just kind of missing some of the little extra tricks that you get. Let's see. Ozaki is saying, I was once yelled at a local library for putting a book, Women's Rights, in the fiction area. That's the kind of comments I was waiting for. Doug Snap, have you tried the primary arm scopes? I have not. And, oh, hey, did I just see? I thought I saw Von Precision for a sec. Have I tried primary arms? I have not yet, and I would like to. That's another one. There are plenty in the budget category right now that are really slick. Okay, so the SWFA SS fixed power, those run for $300 right now. You have the Falcons that are running at $300 for SFP, and then about $350 for FFP. Those are some really great budget optics that I highly recommend at this point. I've tested the ever-loving crap out of the Falcons, so I can give them a hearty 2 thumbs up. The SWFA is still a little bit of an unknown quantity because I haven't, shot them extensively, but my first reaction is they are great. I can really see why people talk them up a lot. Z50 is saying the Nikon FX1000 is under 800. Okay, yeah, that's another one to look at then. I'll bet that's going to be a really good choice. The glass is improving. The little, all the controls and stuff are improving. The tracking is getting much more reliable. Okay, Mike is saying that he has an Aries BTR. Quite pleased with it, especially considering the price point. That's what I keep hearing. I really got to try one. That and primary. With hunting season around the corner, how do you prep? What's in the bag? This is going to be, this is kind of interesting. Don't tell anybody now that we're on a public forum, but I've never actually shot a deer. Never done it. And I've been shooting a lot, and I've killed a ton of prairie dogs. That is more fun than you can imagine. It's like a shooting gallery, but the targets move around and they explode like, okay, I won't get too graphic, but it's it's super duper fun. I've shot a lot of those guys at long ranges, but I've never actually shot a deer. And I'm going to this year. I've got a nice hunting rifle in 308. I'm going to take that Stevens 200 that I tuned up with the @1 stock, and I'm going to bag me a deer this year. I'm just happy that I got that hog earlier this year. 400 yards on a sprint. Yeah, I'm happy about that. That was fun. But as far as stuff that I'm going to bring along, really I'm going to be figuring it out, just because this is going to be my first time to, hopefully actually bag a deer. I'll have rope. I'm going to have some rope. Oh, and by the way, guys, I've been talking here with Zombies R Us. Go check out his channel. He's got some really fun stuff out there. And he's got a really neat little range that he shoots on. Burris Scout Scope is decent, has BDC reticle. Okay, sweet. Thank you very much, Mono. I did not know that Burris had one. And if they make one, it's going to be phenomenal, I'm sure. Burris is the business. Those things are really, really great glass. For real-world hunting, come out to western Nebraska. Lots of public land and private landowners will accommodate. Yeah, I bet. That's some wide open country out there. Thanks, man. Jeff is saying, I have a Simmons scope I'll make you a good deal on. Okay, there is one Simmons that I want to try. And that is the, what are they calling it? Pro Target. It sounds like they have revamped their scopes. They're coming out with a new AE tech, I think. I'm not sure. But they have this new Pro Target. I saw it on sale at Walmart for $77. And it's like I can't remember what the zoom range was on it. But I'm betting it's actually going to be pretty good. Like much better than its price tag indicates. I'm going to let you guys know. I've got the hookup on that one, I think. And I'm going to try it out a little bit later to see, how low on the budget you can actually go and still end up with a scope that works. We'll find out. Steiner scopes. I've not had a chance to try one of those. I've tried some of the other high-end ones, but I've not tried a Steiner, and I keep hearing good stuff. I'll bet they're awesome. Yeah, and Z50 is saying you have to take out a second mortgage on the house to buy one. All the German stuff. Whew. Really, the Japanese are still doing a great job. Okay, Kyle M is saying that there's a really good sale going on in SWFA on the 3 to 15 FFP and the fixed 10 mil. Okay, that's cool. You should go check that out then, because I'm loving it so far. Oh, wait, this is the tracked. That's on the other scope. The SWFA SS FFP is, very, very nice so far. Tracking has been perfect, and glass is great. Let's see. How many years can rifle ammo be stored? Well, we're about to find out. I have been storing it in less than ideal conditions, but actually it can be stored for a really long time. Some of the best ammo that I have ever bought was, I think, Polish surplus Tokarev ammo that had been underground or in a bunker or something since 1952. And it is still fast, reliable, and it has velocity SDs down so low. I think it was in the single digits. It's like the best pistol ammo. You can store it for a really long time. Okay, Doug's talking about primary arms. Yeah, I bought the FFP scope from Falcon, their M14, which is a 4 to 14 by 44. Before primary arms released theirs. So, I was kind of like, I already got one, and I want to test this one, but I really should, because they're so popular. I've heard the glass on the primary is a little bit lesser. I'm going to find out. For those of you that have more money than common sense, I would recommend US Optics. Yeah, those do look really, really good, and they weigh a ton. It's like slapping another gun on top of your gun. Zombies RS is saying he's been using a Simmons 8-point 3 to 9 by 32, and it's been pretty good for 5 years on multiple firearms. That's good to hear. Now, do you track the reticles? I'm kind of curious on that one, or do you kind of leave it locked down? Because I found that with the Simmons that I was shooting, if it was locked down, it was fine. And actually, the tracking was good too. It's just when I got too far off axis, like if I was taking a long shot and really looking through, different parts of the lenses, that the image got pretty mushy. So I'm kind of curious to hear your feedback on that. I actually have an 8-point in my garage that my wife and my best friend, they were out garage sailing. I was watching the kids or something, and they brought an 8-point back for me, and I'm going to be melting the reticle on it just because, it's a $3 scope. I'm going to show how if you point it at the sun, people keep talking about how you can, of course, blow your eyeballs out. That's easy enough, but also that you can melt the reticle. So it has the wire reticle right down underneath the eyepiece. I actually removed the eyepiece so I could find it. And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna melt that sucker. Robin Larson, just shot some 50-year-old 7.62 NATO in my HOA HCR 308. Was working great. Yeah, that's kind of been my experience. You can lay up ammo and it doesn't seem to get any worse. It's going to be better if you can store it at moderate temperatures. Here in Oklahoma, it gets really hot. I feel kind of bad for my ammo that's sitting out in the garage. All right, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. It is 5 o'clock. We've gone for an hour. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for chatting. And thanks for all the feedback on stuff. Thanks for reminding me of some of the great products out there. Okay, I'll take this one last one. All right, I'll take the last two. Doug, what AR format can compete with bolt action at 1,000 yards? The CMMG Mark III. Yeah, I would take that to an F-class match in a heartbeat. It's almost as precise as this. Almost. This, with hand loads, was shooting down around 0.4 MOA. If I worked harder, I could probably get it down to about 1/4. I know there are folks out there doing it. It's just I don't really care because I'm shooting practically. I don't want to get, just keep working until I finally get, tiny little bug holes. I don't care. But the CMMG is shooting, I think, down around 0.45 MOA with reliable SDs and velocity. That's the one that I've shot at a mile with. I've shot at 1,000 yards with. I could shoot F-class with it, and yeah, that one is definitely good to go. And Remington R15, I'll take that one last question. What do you do for a living? Sorry, just being nosy. I am a web developer. I make websites. I do other web-related media. I've done 3D animation if a client requests it. It's like visualizations and things like that. I'm not really a graphic artist, but I'll do it if I have to. That sort of stuff. Yeah. Thanks a lot, blokes. I will see you guys around. Great to hear from you. And I hope to see, some of these same names again next time. Yeah, y'all have been great. So, yeah, I won't be releasing a video today, not one of the regular videos. I just didn't have time this week because of that weird project. Didn't get to do any editing. So we're going to have some fun stuff next week. I'm hoping next week I can release that Savage Scout versus deer rifle video with all 8 of us. And you're not going to want to miss that one. It's going to be pretty incredible. All right. See you guys.